あれ、コントローラーが反応しないぞ。おいだ。この時間入力のくだりって、毎回やる必要ある？待って待って。始める前にちょっといいですか？ゲームを起動した時に2回ともちゃんと時計を設定してくれてありがとうございます。ほとんどの人はこのステップを真剣に捉えていないんです。彼らはただ12時のままにして切り上げてしまうのです。でもあなたは実際に時間を合わせてくれましたし、私はそれに感謝しているんです。それってあなたがこの体験を大切にして、ちゃんと注意を払ってくれてるっていうことだと思うんです。あなたが合わせた時間が正しいかどうか知る術はないですけどね。そうだ、こうしましょうよ。あなたは協力的ですし、どうせだったら次にこのゲームを起動して、この画面が表示されたらあなたの一番好きな時間を設定してください。どうぞセットしたい時間を好きに選んで、正しい時間でなくても構いませんよ。あなたがちゃんと協力してくれたからですよ。よし。じゃあそろそろゲームに戻りましょうか。なんだこの茶番は。なんか変だと思ったんだよね。前設定したのにまた設定あんのって思って。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
今
room.
回は、
Perhaps he had simply missed a
ナレー
memo.
ションに従ってみようか。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on
ま
his
ずは
left.
左のドア。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
上の上
upstairs
司
to
の部屋
his
に向か
boss's
う。
office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
あれ、入れないとダメ？なんか昨日は2、3週目からはしょってくれたけどね。
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs, trying to input, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
あ、ちょっと興味本位で戻ってみていい？
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back
ナレー
into
ショ
the
ンが
elevator and went
反応
back
してる。
up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
なんでそんなことをしたんだって。結構何してもナレーションって割り振ってあるんだな。
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
なんかナレーションちょっと怒ってない？でもこれ以上は戻れないね。
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down
信じられ
again.
ない。エレベーターに戻り、また下に行く
How
ので
does
す
he
か？
keep coming up with all of this?
これもう一回。
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
もう一回上がってみる。どう反応するかな？
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me. Oh my god.
Oh my
It's
god.
the boss's office.
上司のオフィスだ。
This
これはもう
absolutely
絶対
changes
変えるか
everything
ら。
for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
あ、なんか始まった。一体何が起こるんです？
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
これまた新しい死に方する？もしかして。いやでも逆にこれいいもの見れた気がする。
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
これはさ、もう一回戻るしかないでしょ。
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean,
次は
sure, now
何
it's
が起こるんで
obvious,
す？
but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
今ね、この上司のオフィスのエレベーターをね、行ったり来たりしてると、ナレーションがめっちゃ切れてて面白いから、ひたすらに戻ってる。これもう3回目なんだよね。
You know what?
ブーム、あのさ、
I've just thought of something.
なんか今思ったんだけど、
Hold on, let's
ち
stop
ょっと待って、一回止めよう。
Don't you realize?
気づいてませ
It's
ん
the
か？期待しているんです
anticipation,
よ、スタンリ
Stanley. You and I,
あ
we
なた
have
と
no
私、
way of
そう、
knowing
私
what
たち
will
は
be
この
at
エ
the
レベーター
top
の
of
上
this
に何がある
elevator.
か知る由
But
も
the
ない。
suspense,
しかしサス
the
ペンス、
agony of
待つ苦し
waiting
み、
and
そして期
anticipating
待、
and having to
予測
guess,
するこ
that's
と。
the real thrill.
それが本当のス
Oh,
リ
I
ルなん
simply
です。
don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
あ、
There we
上に上が
go.
ってる。
Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get
一
started.
体何が起こ
Where's
るん
the
です？
tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, though I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for
よ
you,
く喋るな。
so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here.
あれ ?3 回行ったり来たりしたら、違うルートに誘
Okay,
導
the
さ
room
れ
we're
た。
holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
記者会見に抑えた部屋がある。マジで？こんなことで新しいルートを開拓してしまった。ワールドピースベイビー。
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
ここですか？
All right, are you ready?
To
I've told them
stage.
you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
ガンバ。何？え？何？なんか、思わぬところで新しいエンディングを踏んでしまったな。ただエレベーター
All
を
of his
行
co-workers
った
were
り来たりした
gone.
だけなんだけど。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
あと1
Stanley
個か2個
decided
ぐらい
to
見れ
go
るか
up
な。
to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ほほ。 別にここはなんもねえか。でも意外なところにエンディングが隠されてるパターン。だってエレベーター行き来するだけで謎のエンディングが発生するからな。これはね、なんか押したけど意味わかんなかったから。とりあえずいいや。なんかありそうだけどね。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began while Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
やること早くて。落ち着いたニューエイジミュージック。何？早く開けろよ。
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
こ
Control
のエスケー
Facility.
プ、気になるよね。結局、何が起こるのか。なんか、死ぬって言われた気がしたけど。
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his
企業の
violent
死を
death.
遂げるのです。
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a
ちょっと失礼。
conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
ちょっとディスコードの通知音がビロビロ入ってた。死んだわ。死んでない。
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
しゃがめ。
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
生きてる。ドッキリザ・スタンリー・パラブル。
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
これは新たなエンディングの気配。
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
突然の日本語、風景が。飛ぶ棚。オフィスのパソコン。あ、押しちゃった。あ？オフィス。ボタンの音。このゲームを通してボタンを押した時に使われたサウンドセレクションです。各サウンドはシンセサイザーの音色とキーボードのストロークをミックスして作られています。オフィスの時計。なんだ？ラウンジ。地下。初期バージョンの地下の一部。何初期バージョンって。ナレーションアウトテイク。
And finally, he pushed the number 9.
ギャラリーだね。
Stanley stood on the roof. Stanley stood on the snow.
あ、ここで使われなかったナレーションが聞けるってこと？
Nothing there? Shoot. Well, try the other one then. Then he pushed the number 8. Then he pushed the number 8. Stanley pushed the orange. Stanley stood on the snow. And finally, he pushed the number 9. Still nothing? I don't know. Well, in that case, I'll tell you what. You win.
前作というか、これが完全版みたいな感じ？なんとかエディション。笑い。
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
えい。
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Eh?
But listen to me. You can still save those two.
結局、
You can stop the program before they
死ぬんですか？
both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move
エスケープをしてゲーム終了していいのこれ？
forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for
でも、これもしかして、ゲーム終了したら、特殊エンディングに繋がったりする？
you. Don't let
なんも起こんねえよ。なんも起こんねえよ。でもまあ多分あれ死んで、戻るだけだよね、きっと。
Stanley worked for a company in a big building. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
でもあれ見てみたかったな。
Stanley
もしかし
decided
た
to go
ら
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
なんか
missed
な
a
ってたんか
memo.
な。さすがに2度目はガチで死んで戻る感じか。でもエスケープを
When
し
Stanley
て
came to
戻
a
れっ
set
て
of
言
two
ったんだも
open
ん。
doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
さすがに死ぬんじゃないかな。
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
押してねえんだよ
No
な。
surprise.
これね、2、3回やるとね、勝手に開くっていう謎の仕様。ちょっと巻きで進んで、
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
最後の
Control
スイッチオフに
Facility.
してみようか。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
ちなみにゼルダの発売が金曜日だから、それまではね、緩めに過ごそうかなって。
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
どうなる?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
"まあ普通にハッピーエンドだね。良くも悪くも。でもね、このゲームね、エンディング結構あるんだよね。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
また次回ね、なんか違うルートを行ってみようか。それでは、お疲れ様でした。